Hello everyone, this is Rahul Malhotra from SFDC Stop, and in this video we are going to learn how we can create a user for a Scratchbox, right? So in the previous videos I got some comments from people who were saying that I'm able to log in using my VS Code, like if I have a VS Code and I have a Scratchbox that is connected to a VS Code, and if I want to open that Scratchbox, let's say, so I can directly execute open default or command and it will automatically open my Scratchbox for this particular project, right? That is connected to VS Code. But let's say I want to give my login credentials to someone else for this particular Scratch or if I want to log in using my username and password into that Scratch right? So how I can do that? So in this video, first of all, we will see how we can generate credentials for a particular user that is the default user for our Scratch right? So the first thing that you should know is that you can see the org details for your default org by executing this command in the command palette which says display org details for default org. So I'm just going to press enter in this and we'll see what details are displayed for the default org by SFDX CLI, right? So let's have a look at the details that are being displayed. Here we can see that I have a couple of information for my Scratch org. I have the access token alias, client ID, created by, created date, dev hub ID, addition, expiration date, ID, org name, status, username, etc. Right? So I don't have any password for this particular username, but now I have the username using which I can log in into my Scratch org, right? So I'm just going to copy this username and I'm going to paste it here. Now the next thing that we need to do is that we need to generate a password for this particular user. So in order to generate a password, what you can do, you can just go to the terminal and then you can write here a command which says sfdx force and then user, then password and then generate, right? So this command will actually generate a password for the user, and now what I need to do, I need to specify the username for which I need to generate a password. So my username is this particular username, right? So I'm just going to copy this username and I'll specify that, hey, Salesforce, you need to generate a password for this username, right? And I'm going to press enter. And we'll see here that Salesforce will automatically generate a password for my user, which is having a username as this, right? And in a couple of seconds, we'll get the new password. So here you can see that I got the message that successfully set the password, and this is the password for user, the username that I gave in, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste it here so that I have the password for my user now. And if I just run that command, which was display org details for default org again, it will actually include my password as well because that password is associated with the default username of my org, right? Which is the first user that is automatically created in a Scratch org. So here we can see that apart from the username, I have my password as well, which I just generated for my user. And you can execute this command again and again, and it will automatically generate a random password for you. So let's say I executed this command once again, and this time it will again generate a new random password for me, and this old password will be discarded automatically. So let's wait for a couple of seconds and we'll see a new password. Okay, here it is. So now I need to copy this particular password because the previous password is invalid now, and this password is automatically set for my username, right? So I'm just going to copy this password, and even if I execute that command to display the org details again, so you can see here the previous password was this one, but we'll see now that a new password will be this one that we just generated, right? So even if you forgot your password, that's not an issue. You can directly generate a new password for your user using the command that I showed, right? So this is the new password that is currently associated with my default user in a Scratch org, right? So I'm just going to copy this particular command and I'm going to paste it above here so that you don't forget this. And the next thing that we need to do is to create a user for our Scratchog. So now we'll see how we can actually create a user for our Scratchog. But before that, let me try logging in into the Scratchog using the username and password. So whenever you are dealing with Scratchogs, the login URL that you need to use is actually test.salesforce.com, right? So it's actually HTTPS here and then test.salesforce.com, right? So I'm just going to use test.salesforce.com and I'll try logging in with this particular username and password. So this is the username. I'm going to just give this particular username and I'm going to give this password. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we are able to log in into our Scratch org or not. I don't want to register my phone right now. So yeah, I'm able to log in into my Scratch org using the username and password that I just generated for my user, right? And it is the same Scratch org, that is Customization Connect, which I opened earlier, right? Okay, so we can see here that we can generate a new password for our user and we are able to log in using that password, right? But I mean, when we are dealing with scratch we actually need to shift to a new scratch after some time. I mean, maximum you can specify a limit for a scratch is 30 days, because after 30 days, your scratch will expire. Or if you have specified a limit that many number of days, let's say after X days, your scratch will expire, yeah, right? Your org will expire. So after my org is expired, and let's say I had about 3 users in my org, right? So how can I actually shift the users to a different scratch org, because I don't want to create user again and again manually. And let's say I have some permission sets that are assigned to that user, so how I can do that using SFDX CLI? There should be an easy way for that, right? So now we'll see how we can create a user for Scratch using SFDX CLI, and by how I can store that particular configurations in my project itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to create a new folder here inside my config folder, and I'm going to name that folder as users. And inside this user, let's say I'm actually going to create a new user, and I'm going to create a user for my awesome QA. So I'm just going to write here as awesomeqa.json. So what I did, I actually created a new file under the users folder, which is under config folder, and my user file name is awesomeqa.json. And now I need some configuration here for that particular user or QA for which I'm creating a user, right? So to have a look at the configuration, we can actually go to the Salesforce documentation. I'll give the link in the description, so nothing to worry. And in this documentation, we can see here that we have a configuration for any particular user that we want to create in our Scratch org, right? So I'll give the link to the original documentation, so that even if this particular snippet is updated or something, you can directly get the latest information from here, right? So I'm just going to paste it here that I copied from this configuration for a Scratch user, and I'm going to tell you what it is now, right? So it is nothing but the username, last name, email, alias, and the time zone SID key, locale SID key, and some other information about my user, right? So I'm just going to specify a user-friendly username. Let's name it as awesomeqa at the rate, let's say sfdcstop.com. Okay, and I can specify a last name. Let's give it last name as QA, and I can also specify a first name here. So I'm just going to add a first name, and let's name it as awesome, right? Okay, so now I need to specify an email. I'm just going to give a dummy email right now. So it's awesomeqa@sfdcstop.com, and for alias I can just give it as awesome QA, right? And I'm going to leave it as it is, the rest of the stuff, and I'm going to create a user using the standard user profile. And I can also specify the permission sets here that are there in my org, right? But the permission sets should be there in my org. So let's go to our org first, and I'm going to create a new permission set here, and then we'll see if we can assign that permission set or not, right? So I'm just going to permission sets. I'm going to create a new permission set very quickly. Let's create a new permission set here. I'm going to click on new, and let's name it as QA permission set. Okay. And the license that I should specify here is Salesforce license, because standard user has a Salesforce license, right? So I'm just going to save this permission set, and right now I don't have any user that is assigned to this permission set. I can check out the manage assignments to see if I have any user. So I don't have any user, and also in my org I don't have any user named as awesome QA. I can just refresh this page to show you clearly. So I have couple of users in my org, and I have even a user named as my QA, but I don't have any user named as awesome QA right now in my org, right? So let's assign this permission set, which was named as QA permission set. So I'm just going to copy the permission set name, and I'm going to paste it here, right? Okay, so Okay, so my QA permission set API name is QA underscore permission underscore set. I'm just going to copy and paste it here. And the next thing is generate password. So if you want to generate password for your user or not, I'll recommend you to keep it as true. So I'm just keeping it as true. However, the default value for this is false, right? So now I have my JSON file here, which consists of all the metadata for my particular user that I am going to generate or create, right? So how I can create a user? So in order to create a user, you need to execute this command, which says atfdx force user and then create, right? And now I need to specify an alias for my user. So alias for my user will be specified by -a, and let's name it as awesome qa1, right? And now I need to specify a path, or I need to specify that I want to use this particular file to get the metadata for my user that I'm going to create, right? So I'm just going to specify it as -f, where f stands for the file path, and I'm going to specify this particular path, which is nothing but config and then users, and then I have my file name as awesomeqa.json, right? And I'm going to press enter. Let's see if our user is created in our org or not. Okay, so it will take a couple of seconds. Okay, so we got an issue here. It says alias data value too large, awesome QA. Okay, so we can't give that big value for alias. Let's give it as what should I give here? Let's give it as awesome QA. Let's just remove E from here. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 characters now. So it should work fine, right? So I'm just going to execute this command again, and let's see if this time we are successful or not. Okay, so I'm getting another issue here. It says there are no available user licenses for the profile standard user. So let's refresh our page and let's see if we have particular license or not, because I think we have a Salesforce license. But let's make sure that we have that. Okay, so I actually got a user created in my org, which is named as which has a username of awesomeqa@sfdcstop.com, and alias was very long. That's why it has given a random alias for this user, right? So that is why a license is not available. So let me show you once again. I'm just going to change its license, and I'll actually okay, I actually need to remove it from permission set as well, because I think the permission set is assigned to this user. Okay, so yeah, the permission set is not assigned. So let me change the license very quickly. I'm just going to give it any other license for now, and we'll see if we are able to create a user again or not. So this time we need to update the username. Let's give it as awesomeqa1. Okay, so I mean, just make sure that even if there is an error, it may be possible that you have a user created in your org, right? So I'm just going to execute this command again, and let's see if we are able to create a user this time or not. Okay, so this time it is telling me that it has successfully created user with the username awesomeqa1@sfdcstop.com, and it has an ID, and I can also see the details for this particular user by using this command, which is sfdx force user display. So let's run this command once and let's see if we are able to see the password for this user or not, because we have also kept generate password to true, right? So let's see if we are able to see a password for this user by executing this command, and meanwhile we'll also check if our user is created here or not. So it should have a username as awesomeqa1@salesforce.com, and the password is this. We also have a password for this user. Okay, so yeah, my awesome QA user is created now, and I'm just going to see if it has the necessary details that we sent here. So first name is awesome, last name is QA, email is awesomeqa1, username is also awesomeqa1. I'm just going to verify that is fine, and alias for this is awesomeqa. So I can check out the alias. It is awesomeqa. That's fine. User license should be Salesforce, because the profile that I'm using is standard user profile. So the profile is standard user and the user license is Salesforce. And if I go to the permission sets assignments, I can see here that QA permission set is assigned to this particular user, right? So I actually specified this permission set, and it is automatically assigned to my awesome QA, right? Okay, so we got to know that how we can actually create a user, and let's say you are shifting to Scratch.org. Let's say your Scratch.org is expired and you are shifting to a new Scratch.org. So you just need to do nothing. You can simply use this particular file that is there in your project forever now, and you can directly create a new user by executing this simple command, which says sfdx force user create and then an alias and then a file for this, right? So I'm just going to write this command here, and therefore we got to know that how we can create a new user for our org. So I'm just going to log in using this username and password just to verify that this user is working, right? So let's open our login page again, and I'm going to use this username, which is awesomeqa1@salesforce.com. Okay, so I'm just going to paste it here, and for password I'm just going to copy this particular password and I'm going to paste it here, right? So let's see if we are able to log in using this QA user or not. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you while logging in, because we gave in a random email ID right now for our user, which is awesomeqa1@sfdcstop.com. So that email actually doesn't exist, so I'll not be able to log in into this user. But make sure that whenever you are creating a user, you are actually giving a real email ID, right? So I mean, I'm actually getting into this page, so this means that I just need to enter a verification code and I'll be able to log in, right? Okay, so we got to know that how we can actually create a user for our Scratch org, how we can generate a password for any particular user. So let's say I just want to generate a password for my awesome QA. I can use the same command again, and I can use my username, which is awesomeqa1@salesforce sfdcstop.com, to generate a new password for this user as well, right? So this is how you can create a user for your Scratch orgs, and you can store those users in a JSON file as well. So I'll recommend this kind of project structure where you have all the users listed under the user folder, right? Even if you are shifting Scratch.org, it may be possible that you need to update the username, because the previous Scratch.org takes some time to actually got removed properly, even after expiration. So it may be possible that you need to change the username, but the rest of the stuff will remain same for you, so nothing to worry. And your users are stored in your VS Code project as well, right? So yeah, that's all for this video tutorial, everyone. I'll give the link for this particular documentation in the user description, sorry, video description. And there are some other commands also. Like, we got to know about this particular command, which is user password generate. To know about all the users, you can use force user list command, and we got to know about force user create and force user display command as well. If you want to assign the permission sets by using command, you can use force user permission set or perm set assign command. But I prefer assigning permission sets like this, or I can simply assign permission sets by going into my org, right? So that's up to you how you want to do that. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial. See you next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.